Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Dodger here. Welcome back to the Mindcrack server for the 105th time. That's right, I'm back. You may have thought it was over. We weren't gonna do Mindcrack on YouTube anymore, but you were wrong. I was patiently waiting for the Mindcrack UHC to play out. And if you don't want Mindcrack UHC spoilers, you should probably leave now. But come back later, maybe, after you watch it. But yes, I was patiently waiting for the UHC to play out, and that was a long series indeed. That ended up going quite some time. What was it? 8 episodes, I believe? And yeah, that took quite a big time slot here on the channel for a while there. And I'm excited to now finally be able to talk about that today. So here we are outside of the garage at the Cone Abode, and on stream we've been working on the driveway slash racetrack slash rally course slash downhill ski slope. It's slash many things, but I've been working on this as an entryway to the garage area, including this snow paved road that ends in a roundabout down here, and a roundabout location near the Guano connection that I'll have to hook into there somehow in the future. It's basically a visual representation of a racetrack style driveway. If this is my dream property, then that's something I would put as a dream portion of the build, is that I would want my driveway to represent a racetrack. Still quite a bit of work left to do here, including changing out this black concrete for snow. I used the snow because I thought I was going to be real clever and have snow partial slabs as a gentle gradient and banked turns and all sorts of cool stuff like that. Unfortunately, the lighting issues surrounding them kind of detract from that look. Got some more work to do today. I want to build some structure around the place. I already started laying out some of it with these cobblestone walls. Looks like I got some other work to do. This turn isn't quite sculpted correctly. We laid a base of gravel for this whole road to try and emulate railroad construction to some degree. So yeah, we got a little bit of extra as the shape of this particular turn changed a few times. I may have just gotten a little overzealous right there. Boop. But other than that, yeah, I just got some busy work to do here today. And that gives us time to discuss UHC a little bit. It was not my personal first UHC ever. Ultra hardcore experience, if you don't know what it is. It is essentially something created by the Mindcrack community. And I discussed kind of the history of that in a previous episode. So if you look up, I believe it was called the UHC debate or something of that sorts. If you look up that video, you'll be able to get a little bit of a up to speed on what it is. But this was my personal first time competing with that group. The other ones I've done were either in personal groups, meaning groups of people like just friends and acquaintances, stuff like that, or with the Farlander community. They've done a few of them. Or alternatively, back when it was really a popular thing, there was servers that would host short format versions of the game. So yeah, I've certainly had experience with the game mode, with playing that style of Minecraft. But I just want to start out with, to have the opportunity to actually play on you know, the Mindcrack server UHC is a pretty mind-blowing experience to me of years ago. It's one of those things where, as originally a fan of the series and a fan of the group, if you had told me years ago that I would someday have the opportunity to take part in one of those, I would have been very much so floored. I would have been quite surprised and probably not believed it. So, I may not always exhibit a lot of emotion in regards to those things, but it really did mean a lot to me. But I think one of the coolest parts about it, other than just being able to do the UHC at all, one of the coolest things to me was how right it felt. I never felt like a guest. I didn't feel like an outlier. I just felt like I was part of it. And to have that feeling was surprising. And I don't know, it really felt good. And I think the Mindcrack marathons are probably the reason for that. It's moved me beyond the acquaintance of the group to feeling like part of the group. I definitely, as soon as we started to talk about it, was a little bit worried about, you know, how it might go, how I might, you know, fit in with everything, because those are the kinds of things that I worry about all the time. It's not just for any special occasion, it's for all occasions. But really, as soon as we started to get everything together, it all just gelled really well. The most interesting thing in regards to that was my team ends up being Arcus and Badge. This was chosen completely at random. Totally at random. Seth created a whole data pack to set this up, and that data pack automatically assigned teams, so there was no picked teams, there was no predeterminedness, there was nothing there to try and make it interesting or more interesting or less interesting or whatever. It was purely random. Yes, even the team of Brian, Good, and Chad, completely random. Even though that team seems a little, how do I say stacked? It just seems predictable. Oh man, but my team ends up being unpredictable. I don't think if you had asked people ahead of times, you know, who would be on teams, who would make good teams for a UHC, people would say, oh yeah, you know who would be a good team? Badge, Arcus, and Cone. Because the three of us, although I have over the history of time done stuff, done not UHC, but like PUBG, or we end up hanging out together a lot at the Mindcrack marathons, done things together with Arcus, but I wouldn't say as though we are particularly like close or anything. Our communities aren't close, and there's probably a pretty big degree of separation there. Even more so for Badge, because by the time I really came around, Badge had already pretty much stopped doing the content creation stuff. Still a part of Mindcrack, but just as kind of like a member of Mindcrack and not so much doing it on a career basis. He does this stuff purely for fun and sport at this point. So by the time I came around, honestly there just wasn't a lot of overlap between us. The fact that the three of us, I think, ended up making, in my own opinion, a pretty funny and good team is something that I'm honestly proud about. But yeah, the fact that the three of us ended up being, I think, a good team, entertaining team, something I was comfortable with. I never felt uncomfortable, and I never felt so nervous that I couldn't be myself. That's one of the things that I often worry about, is when I'm not comfortable and it's a situation that I don't feel like I'm fitting in. Often I don't really exhibit a lot of my own personality. I just kind of hide behind the others. But yeah, the fact that I was able to feel pretty comfortable and feel like I was just, part of the team, it felt good. And I was happy about that. And I think that made for a good time for everybody. I hope. It seemed like people enjoyed it. Viewer-wise, I was surprised to how well received it ended up being. I had pretty low expectations, honestly, for how it would do. It has been a very long time. It has been a very long time since there has been a Mindcrack UHC. To then have newcomers, myself and Brian, involved, you just don't know. You don't know how that's going to be received. But I'm honestly really happy to see that, probably again thanks to the Mindcrack Marathon, people are familiar enough with us that it didn't seem that weird at all. And I felt like we were both accepted pretty easily into the whole thing, which was cool. Very happy about that. So that's probably honestly enough about the meta of the whole thing. How about the actual UHC? How about the actual competition, if you will? I was definitely nervous, considering the fact that it is one of the first, I would say real UHCs. The ones I did with the Farlander group felt real, and this one for sure felt real. I also have a different take on events like UHC than some other people do. I talked about that a little bit in the previous video, and that I don't maybe take the competition side of it as seriously. Although my background in other Battle Royale games, aka the 1,000+ hours that I have in PUBG, wow, what did I just do there? Kind of give me, I don't know, a little bit of extra drive to do well in these kinds of things. It's given me a different perspective on how to handle myself, and honestly, I think it's helped. I think it helped. I think it helped me keep my cool and keep focused and not really stress out about it. I will credit playing so much PUBG with helping me do better in this setting. In previous ones, including the kind of silly charity ones and the Farlander ones, I typically struggle badly against PvE, and I struggle in general with progression, because I tend to get a little over-aggressive. And I think that's something that worked really well for our team, is the fact that I tend to play pretty aggressive, and it seems like Arcus and Baj tend to play quite a bit more on the conservative side. They want to be around at the end. That's the goal. So when things didn't really go amazingly for us, we certainly had our issues obtaining loot, which is a PUBG term. But yeah, we didn't really luck out with our caving. Very early on, it seemed like we were doing fine. We found that great cave, but quickly, I would say, it became apparent that things weren't going to be really readily available for us. We were going to have to really fight for items, and a lot of caving happened because of that. Super weird spawn, having the desert, having so much desert all around. Sorry, I'm trying to decide how tall these walls are going to be. Changed how everybody played, pretty much. The loot was there in the temples, kind of like PUBG style there, and I was concerned about that, and I really personally wanted to do a lot of exploring, and be the ones to find the villages, the temples, and etc. Because those are so stacked with stuff. If you find a temple that's got diamonds in it, you could be enchanted by day 2. And that is such an advantage in a UHC setting like this that it seemed like the way to go. Unfortunately, we got struck with a day 1 thunderstorm, which meant that mobs started spawning on the surface. I pretty much immediately backed off on my pressure to be the ones out exploring, and instead we headed underground to start getting a shield and armor and that kind of stuff. I think that's a defining factor for our event, or how the UHC went for our team. If we had pushed to explore, we probably would have pushed into more of those village areas or temple areas sooner than some of the other teams, looking at the map after the fact. It's not 100%, but it's possible. If we had gone out exploring, there's also a chance we would have run into other teams very early on. So there was that risk as well. That we ended up, basically, from what I could tell, almost every team ended up hunkering down pretty early due to the storms. Some teams just happened to start closer to the temples and the villages than others. Looking at, Gob 2.0 especially. But I don't think that has everything to do with how our team ended up not being stacked. Because our caves were just really dry caves. There was not the gold, there was not the diamonds, there was not the dungeons for so very long. And that ended up kind of putting us in a position where I feel like we all, without saying it, we all decided that yes, we need to play kind of conservatively, which is tough for me because that's not my play style. In the end, it worked, and in the end, we, despite playing pretty wimpily, I think we still exhibited enough, like, I don't know, just craziness and silliness that it was still entertaining. So I'm happy with the product. Like, I'm happy with the series. I think it was fun and funny and ended up being competitive enough also. I was getting real antsy by like 5 episodes in. I wanted to go. I wanted to go exploring. I wanted to go find the other teams or do something, because it was just really feeling. Oh, I don't want slabs. I want full blocks. Put these up. Let me go repair my shovel. Yeah, I really wanted to go do something because it was feeling like it was getting stagnant, and I was already reading comments about how there was, not enough action. But luckily, I think there was such a drought of UHC that people backed off on that. The opinion that everybody needs to be out ready to fight within 4 episodes seemed to have died down a little bit, which was nice, because it did get to play out, and we got to see people basically just playing Minecraft for a good almost 3 hours. There was just people playing Minecraft. No fighting, just ultra hardcore style Minecraft. And to me, I enjoy that. I like that aspect of the event. So doesn't really bother me that nobody was finding each other and there was not any fighting early. I was just worried about how it was going to be received. But in the end, it seems like it was received just fine. Like I said, probably because of the delays. Let's see. They're getting very close to finishing this farm, by the way. Like, really, really close. I think he just has to plant. So I have no problems taking... This is gravel. Oh, that's the gravel chest, that's why. No problems taking stone if I need some stone. Oh wow, it's trying to fill. Like it's completely filled up with stone even. And is there any iron down here? Not a lot, so I don't think I'll take that. I'll have to go get my own iron. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, there was certainly some differing perspectives there between myself and Badge and Arcus, especially by the time at which we escaped the first encounter when I made the little house and we were making our statues on the hill. When we escaped that battle and went looking for caves and came up dry, and they started really pushing to find caves, quote unquote. That was the only part of it that I was kind of uncomfortable with. That's not how I would have played it. But I think through the humor of the situation and just the general understanding that we really did not have the gear. Like, if we had come up against anybody at that point, we were dead. I went over there to repair my shovel. Instead, I got stone. Well, that's fine. I need that anyway. But at the end of the day, yeah, I think staying underground for that much longer was the strategy. And Arcus was right. The only chance that our team had was to be the vultures, to be the ones to try and pick up the scraps after the fact. One of the most annoying changes to Minecraft since the last UHC is the phantoms. That played out a lot differently than I expected. I expected that teams would know about them and they would sleep. The teams that slept wouldn't have these problems with phantoms. I didn't know that even if you slept and somebody didn't, those phantoms would attack all players in the area. That is a little bit game-breaking when it comes to UHC, because players are being penalized for something they didn't personally do, which is a little bit of a bummer. It'll work out, you know, players will work around it, but I wish they hadn't done it that way. I wish the phantoms would actually target the player that is the one that has not slept, because otherwise, basically exactly what I was saying. I'm being punished for the fact that apparently Arcus did not sleep. I honestly think it was a different team altogether, because I swear that Arcus did sleep. We had a bed, we were underground, and I distinctly remember the conversation of, hey, make sure we sleep tonight, and I thought everybody did at that point. But maybe not. But either way, the phantoms played a major part in that final fight battle. Even though we played a really smart game there, we got ourselves into a position that, frankly, we weren't in position to be in otherwise. Somehow we managed to have our team positioned correctly at the end there to take a fight to teams that had basically already run down their supplies. They were already out of their apples, you know, they were down on health because of their fights. That was the right time for us. That was definitely the right move. Very, very smart by Arcus there, I think. Unfortunately, there was the phantoms at play. Not only that, Badge got taken out almost immediately by Packrat's Mega Bow. Probably a shield issue there for players of Minecraft that don't play a lot in the new version. shields are still a very awkward mechanic that frankly I just don't think people are as familiar with. Luckily, from playing on here on the Mindcrack server, and as well as the Farlander server, I've become pretty well acquainted with using the shields. So I felt like my shield usage was decent. A little bit rough at the end there because, well, it got intense. It got crazy. But yeah, no, that part of it was a drawback for sure, losing Badge in that final fight so quickly. I saw that. I saw that. Burn! But I was really happy to get some kills there. I fully expected to get 0 kills in my first Mindcrack UHC, and I ended up with 2, which I'm really surprised about. They were opportunistic kills. They were teams that were wrapped up in battles and not paying enough attention. I was able to kind of swoop in and pick them off from a fairly safe distance. I was having to avoid Packrat and I think Nebris up the hill. I believe that was who was up the hill from me at that point. But overall, I was able to fend off their attacks pretty well. It wasn't until the Phantoms really started to go crazy and got Arcus, and then I was just there by myself, knowingly going against extremely stacked players, that things kind of started to fall apart for me. I personally kind of just lost my rhythm. I lost too much of my focus on what I was doing and what I should be doing, and it showed. That's how you end up with coal in both of your hands at the same time. I didn't watch any of the UHC in editing. I edit every single video I make and watch every single video I make. I watch them back and, you know, go through the audio, clean it up and all that stuff. I just cut and rendered every single one of those UHC videos because I wanted to watch it, kind of like as a viewer. And boy, I certainly made some silly blunders in the fight at the end, but it was really, in my mind, it was the fact we were fighting at night, which I hate. I hate fighting at night, and the fact we were dealing with the Phantoms that really kind of got me. That's what really got me out of sorts and ended up getting me killed. But that's okay. It was still, I want to say it was an honor to even take part in it. It really did feel pretty incredible. And the response was great. People were so excited to have it back, and people were excited for the videos. There was very little griping. It was overall a very good experience. The only negative experience is the fact that from spectator view, I just blindly walked into lava in the final fight. However, the spectator view was different than reality, probably because of network lag or whatever. So the majority of people saw video of me walking into lava, and the minority saw, from my perspective, that a phantom flew in and knocked me over into the lava, and that is what, in the end, killed me. Well, obviously the arrow killed me in the end, but I was down to like 1 heart because of the lava. Yeah, that's the only bummer, but it was not enough of a bummer to have soured my overall opinion of how it went. I'm super excited to have more of them in the future. Hopefully that was enough positive momentum that the group will do more of them in the future. I think everybody enjoyed it. The fans enjoyed it. The community enjoyed it. I just don't see any reason why it shouldn't continue and why there shouldn't be more. I don't think there needs to be the rate of them that there was in the past, but 2 or 3 a year would be nice. I think you got 2 charity ones, well, 3 charity ones usually. 1 during the spring marathon and then 2 during the big marathon. So yeah, you got those. I think if you added in probably 2 recorded UHCs during the year, I think that'd be a good mix. And it would help, I think it would really help, not redefine, but what's the word? It would help kind of just remind people of Mindcrack as a group. And that would be a benefit to things like the Mindcrack Marathon. It would keep Mindcrack as a group fresh on people's minds, even after the, absence of the Mindcrack server. So I think it could be a positive if it is done correctly. If it's done too much, then I think it starts to become too competitive and it starts to become too much a regular thing, and it's just not. It loses some of the appeal, I think, when it happens too often. So yeah, if we could do that a couple times a year, I think that would be good. I also think it would be interesting, since there is such a divide now in how people create content. Such a large amount of Mindcrack is now made up of people that stream for a living, not make YouTube video. I think it would be interesting to do a live streamed regular UHC. Not a charity one, none of the funny business, just a regular UHC. I'm gonna try these and see what they look like. Sure. No, not that these. Whatever. I think it would be interesting to do, once a year or something. Just as a, I don't know, a different take. I'm curious what it would be like. Maybe it would be a disaster. Maybe it would be awful. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think it would be a nice middle ground. I personally really am glad that it was a recorded UHC. I like that format. I love being able to watch everybody's perspectives and doing the multi-view thing. It's episodic. I like it. I like that format a lot. But I think it would be nice and it would be fair to those that specifically make their living on Twitch to also try and do a live stream one. I think it would probably bring back a lot of the people that we remember from the past that don't take part anymore, because they don't have a platform for this kind of stuff anymore. If you completely stopped doing YouTube videos, there's not a lot of incentive to take part in the UHC now. I'm very thankful for the people that did and don't have a platform. There we go. And I tried to support those that, were uploading to Twitch or, had channels that they don't really maintain anymore, but they uploaded it anyway. Yeah, I'm very thankful for the people that did that. But yeah, it would be cool to try and spread that a little bit. Spread the love out there a little. I don't know, it'd probably play out a lot differently too, so it'd be an interesting thing to try. There's so much unfortunate negative surrounding YouTube anymore that I fully understand why some simply don't want anything to do with the format. Some people just they don't want to upload videos to YouTube, so it doesn't make sense for them to put in the effort to do that. And I respect them fully for that. It's just kind of a shame that divide is also kind of a divide in this. And the same goes for the server, I believe. I think if people had been more willing to accept Mindcrack content... Oh, what's gonna happen here? Not the weirdest of things, but the kind of weird things. Oh, that's gonna be weird, though. Hi. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. We'll solve this problem another day, because I love the way this looks. But I don't want to deal with you guys. And I'm just about out of time for the day. Many rabbles, many thoughts, but most of all, I want to say thank you all that supported the support of that series, and the UHC in general was was really nice, and it came at a great time. It's been a very rough couple of months, I think, for a lot of us, and yeah, the warm response to that event was certainly, at least for me personally, very well timed. It helped kind of put a band-aid on what has been a little bit of a wound recently. So thank you for that, and thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.